Entitled mother yells at me for wearing a tank top on a school trip because her son shouldn't see that. 1. Most of the girls were wearing them because it's 100 degrees. 2. I'm a teacher! The players are me, entitled mum, Mrs. T, my teacher, and Mrs. A, another teacher. I've been student teaching this spring in a 6th grade class. It's been a stressful semester, but a good one. Since day 1, I've been treated 100% like a colleague and equal by my teacher and her grade level partners. I'm very baby-faced and don't always look like I'm in my 20s, but I know these kids very well. I subbed for them a lot last year and in this past fall, so they already have respect for me and we have a decent relationship. This week we're on a camping trip with 4 total classes. I finished student teaching, but my teacher invited me on as a teacher to get the experience. We mostly hang in the medical lodge and make sure kids take their meds each day. Easy gig after months of teaching. The kids are happy to see me. Anyways, we arrive at camp. I rode on the bus with my teacher. 2 of the other teachers drove their cars with student luggage, and so did some parents. I got off the bus and started to head down to the lodge with the other teachers for our meeting with the camp director and the counselors. I stopped off to fill my water bottle before heading down. As I finished up, a mum came up to me. I smiled and was about to greet her. "You can't wear that." Excuse me? "Young lady, that is so inappropriate for a school setting. You're going to distract my son and all the other boys. I'm going to have to ask you to change as soon as we get to our cabins." For reference, I was wearing jeans, a black undershirt, and a tank top with thick straps that covered my bra. You literally only saw my black undershirt that kept my bra from being seen through my shirt. Oh, and it was 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I let out a small chuckle. I thought it was a silly mix-up and we could laugh about it later. Nope, that set her off. "Don't you dare laugh, I'm serious! Who is your teacher? You are so disrespectful. No wonder you're dressed like that, trying to get the boys' attention, I bet." I put on my best polite teacher dealing with parents smile. "Whose parent are you?" She told me. Her kid was a troublemaker from another class. "Mrs. EM, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm not a student. I'm a teacher. And the camp's dress code allows my students to wear tank tops. So do not ask them to change." "Now you're lying to me? Where's your teacher? I'm getting you sent home." One of my teacher's partners, Mrs. A, overheard the yelling and came over, also in a tank top. "Is there something you need, Mrs. OP?" I shook my head. "No, I was just introducing myself to Mrs. EM. She didn't know Mrs. T had a student teacher this year." Mrs. A nodded earnestly. "Miss OP has been such an asset to all of us this semester. Your son actually got a few science lessons from her this year. She's going to be a great teacher." The entitled mother was absolutely red in the face. Later that afternoon, we brought all the parents down to our air-conditioned lodge to talk them through the week ahead. Mrs. T, who was kind of our grades team captain, introduced me to the parents. Everyone except entitled mother was happy to meet me, and a few even said their kids loved having me as one of their teachers. The best part of the week so far was when her son ran up to me at dinner and asked in front of his mum, "Mrs. OP, can you teach 7th grade next year so you can be one of my teachers? I'm gonna miss you." Edit. Thanks for all the kindness. I love teaching and am excited to make this my career. The entitled mother's son is something of a troublemaker, but he and I got on really well. Also, an obligatory thanks for the gold. Yeah, not gonna lie, that was pretty satisfying to read. I'm glad it ended well. Our next story was posted by user HappyQuint23, titled, "Random entitled mother detains me because I'm not from China?" One day when I travelled into inner Beijing, my dad asked me to grab us some snapper from the market for dinner. When I got there, it was busy as usual, and being practically the only non-Asian person there, I copped a lot of stares. It doesn't faze me anymore, but back then I hated the stares, but got over it. I found some really nice snapper and purchased it for a nice price. As I was leaving, this woman ran up to me. She wasn't Asian and had a hard American accent. "Excuse me, but aren't you supposed to be somewhere else?" No. You're not from here." "Your point? Judging from your accent, you're not from here either." "Well, duh." "Look, missy, I'm gonna have to get a police officer since you shouldn't be here." "Go ahead. They'll see I'm on a working visa and let me go." "Just you wait." So we waited for a few minutes, and funny enough, there were a few officers around us. She just hadn't noticed. I tell her I'm late and need to get home, to which she grabs me by my arm and puts me on the ground, knee over my face, and it hurt a lot. I started yelling for help, and she starts going on about how I'm being detained. The frick? Few of those officers came over and pulled her off me and helped me up. This idiot kept trying to tell them in English that I'm an immigrant and need to be deported. My Mandarin isn't the best, but I explained to the officers that she assaulted me for no reason. They let me go, and last I saw her, she had roughly 7 officers huddle around her. When I told my dad what happened, he just laughed. The snapper was amazing. Our next story was posted by user Sagi0003, titled, "Sharon is hysterical over Modern Warfare 2 mission." Context. This happened almost 10 years ago, when I was a high school sophomore. Details are a bit hazy, and the conversations didn't go exactly the way I've written them, but I still remember bits of details here and there. No acronyms are used, just fake names. Our cast are me, Fox McCloud, Sharon, entitled Mother, Eric, entitled Kid, Shepard, the Gamestop employee. Story. In my young, stupid teenage self, I wanted to work at Gamestop. I was in the store to drop off my application and my crappy resume, and was trying to decide which game to pick up while I was there. Enter the entitled Mother. As soon as Sharon and Eric enters the shop, they are reeking with attitude. You know, the type of people whom as soon as you see them, you know they're going to be sassy and rude. Sharon and Eric approaches the counter, and Shepard is on the store phone talking about some availability of some games. The phone call takes a good 10 minutes, and Sharon is tapping her foot, getting impatient. Shepard gets off the phone, and the following conversation takes place. "Hi, welcome to GameStop, how can I—" "Well, it's about time. Honestly, I can't believe how slow some people can be." "Sorry about that. Now, how can I help you?" "I bought this game from you guys, and I can't believe such violent games exists." Sharon slams the case down on the counter, and I leaned over to see what game she was freaking out about. It was Modern Warfare 2. I've played the entire campaign over at my friend's place, so I had a suspicion on what made Sharon think it was so violent. Sure enough, my suspicion was confirmed. "Well, the game was rated M for a reason. You should have read the rating more carefully." "Still, why the freak would you make a game where you go to play as the terrorists?" Yep, she was referring to the "and remember, no Russians" mission from Modern Warfare 2. I remember this particular day being a few days after Fox News coverage on that mission. I still believe to this day Sharon was a Fox News viewer and was only there to complain after watching that particular coverage. "Ma'am, I'm sorry if you didn't like playing the game, but if you could just calm down—" "No, I am not going to calm down. My son was playing it, and now he's been traumatized." Eric, smiling and running around the store. "Remember, no Russian." "See, he's already pretending to be a terrorist. I demand a full refund and a free game for all my troubles." Absolutely done with her crap, Shepard is, he says, "and why would I do that?" "Excuse me?" "Why would I give in to your demands?" "Because GameStop made it." "Ma'am, we don't make the games. We get them from the makers and simply sell them. The best we can do is offer store credits." "Ugh, fine." Now, I know we all hate GameStop's used game and store credit policy, but what I was about to witness was the best use of this policy. Sharon was smirking, probably thinking she was going to get $60 back. Realization in 3, 2, 1, Alright, that'll be $30 store credit. What? But I paid $60 at launch! I'm sorry, but that's our policy for used games. But I thought it was only a few days ago. Did you open the packaging? Yes, because did you insert the disc onto the 360? What does that have to do with did your son play the game? Then it's a used game. Mommy, can I get this game instead? Shows Resident Evil 5. Oh, of course, sweetie. Turns to Shepard. Can we use that $30 towards this game then? Of course. Just to let you know, this game is quite shut up and get this done with. Very well. And that's where the story ends, and everyone had their happily ever after. For about 30 seconds, Shepard opens the Modern Warfare 2 case to check out the conditions when he saw the backside of the disc. He made a little snort of laughter. What is it now? Ma'am, there's a scratch on the disc. We can't take discs with scratches on them. You made those scratches? No, I didn't. This is the first I've opened the case since you brought it in. Sharon, scrambling to find excuses, goes like, it was like that when we bought it. 360 can't really read discs with scratches on them, and your son played it for the past few days? Will you just... Actually, I just realized we do take broken discs. Oh, finally, some quality $3. Sharon lets out a banshee scream, grabs the entitled kid, and stormed out. But not before knocking down several games on the shelves. I was laughing the whole time, and Shepard was in tears of joy after she exited. I ended up picking up a copy of Batman Arkham Asylum, which I loved to death. I later realized I'll be facing a lot of people like Sharon if I were to work at the Gamestop. I have never even considered it ever since. Our next story was posted by user Zebra Eds Warrior, titled, I don't look disabled, so the entitled mother deserves my handicap spot. Backstory. I have a rare disease called Ehlers-Danlos. It makes it so all my joints can dislocate from the slightest movement, and it causes chronic pain. Ow, that actually hurts to think of. Due to this, I have a handicap placard for my car and tend to park in handicap parking, even when I don't use my cane or wheelchair. I do not look disabled. Our car star, me, and entitled mum. I was pulling into my local Walmart on a Saturday. That was my first mistake. It's when all the crazies come out. The parking lot was full, and I mean stuffed like seams are about to burst full. So I go looking for a parking spot. I see one handicap spot open and pull into it not thinking much. I have my placard up. A lot of times, people ask why I park there or if the placard's mine, and I just shut them down once and they leave me alone. But no, this binge had to be extra. That's my spot! In a whiny voice you hear a little kid use. I got here first. Plus, I need to be close to the store. I'd just gotten out of my car and hadn't even closed the door yet. Get back in and move! You're not disabled, so it's my spot. I saw it first. She's screaming this from her car with her kids in it. No! I have the placard and I am disabled. You're not old or insert R word I refuse to use. So therefore not disabled. She kept blocking me when I would try and get into the store. Listen lady, want to see how disabled I can be? Watch this. I then show off my circus-like tricks of dislocating my shoulders and wrists, moving them around in unnatural ways. Oh. How dare you, you freak! All the while I continued walking closer to her car. Oh, she drove away, scared out of her mind. Don't mess with us freaks. Edit. I am a woman, and I can self-dislocate, but it causes a lot of pain. But I did it as I felt I had no other choice to get the entitled mother to leave me alone. And our last story was posted by user EarthWrencher, titled Headphones. Has anyone here been in a public space and there's kids watching a kids show with no headphones? The other day I was at Applebee's. Who I was with isn't important. And this kid was watching Cars 2, ka-chow, full volume. And his mum's iPad. Everyone around was ticked. I walked up to the parent and I asked her if she could tell her son to turn the volume down, or like get some headphones or something. Another stranger at the booth across from her just said, "Yeah, it's so annoying." She was yelling about how, "He's just a kid. If you can't handle this movie, then you guys are just terrible human beings." She didn't actually say terrible human beings. A waiter heard what she said, and the waiter had that sassy black girl talk. She was like, "Hey ma'am, you need to quit talking like you own the place or something, 'cause that just ain't nice, girl." The lady just shouted, supervisor's name? I don't know exactly what role they had, but all I know is they were telling her if she didn't turn it down and quit using profanity as other people, she would have to leave the restaurant. She grabbed the kid's iPad and started crying because he can't continue watching Cars 2. And as she was walking out, she yelled, "I don't give an oof about your oofing Applebee's. I'm leaving a 1-star review. Your place is terrible." All that kind of stuff. The rest of the customers just stared at her like she was insane as she made her departure. And to be completely fair, she was insane. Why do people always threaten with bad reviews? It doesn't make any sense. It's not going to make it any better or worse. Like, crazy woman. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Tell me what you thought of it in the comments. We'll have a chat. We'll have some tea. Because that is the tea. And, yeah, have a good day. I'll see you soon. Bye.